This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome everybody to episode 35 of the Animanicast.
Welcome to the Animaniacs Test Kitchen. We're cooking up something really different for today's show. All we need are our ingredients. A dash of Pinky and the Brain, a cup of Slappy Swirl, a tablespoon of good feathers, add Rita, Runt, and Swirl. We add a pinch of Hippos, Buttons, and Mindy too. Now top it off with Skippy Squirrel. What's that make? Animaniacs stew. What do we come up with? Just watch.
And welcome to the Animanicast. We are the only podcast dedicated to the animated series, The Animaniacs. Here we explore the series episode by episode, revisiting all the cultural references and gags, and in the end, we give each episode a water tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me are my co-hosts, Nathan.
It's cold in here. There must be some toros in the atmosphere.
There must be what in the atmosphere?
Toros in the atmosphere? It's from Bring It On, obviously.
Okay.
There's other people to introduce, Joey.
Okay, I'm sorry. And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hi.
I'm sorry, that one just threw me off. It's from Bring It On, the cheerleader movie?
I didn't get the reference either, but now I get it.
Okay, there you go. I said it wrong. I was supposed to quote myself sleep talking. I said, whatever, I messed it up.
You can only say those things when you're sleep talking.
Right?
They don't work. So today we are talking about an episode which, quite frankly, just has a ton of stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically, literally, a mixed bag of characters in this one, isn't it?
Yes.
Today's episode is, I'll just go over the main segments. It has In the Garden of Mindy, No Place Like Homeless, Katie Kaboo, and Baghdad Cafe, among other stuff as well. Guys, what did you think about today's, mixed up crossover episode? Kelly, we'll start with you.
I thought it was fun. I really liked it.
Nathan, what about you?
It was like a what-if episode of Futurama.
That's true. It kind of was, wasn't it? The Tales of Interest.
Yes.
You watched it. You can't unwatch it. Stay tuned for more Tales of Interest.
Which, hey, voiced by Marisa LaMarche right there.
There you
So
go.
it all matches together. So today's episode, Nathan, when did today's episode premiere?
Remember the 5th of November of 1993. It was the release day of RoboCop 3 and Look Who's Talking Now.
Oh, look who's talking now.
Right? The third installment of the wonderful series of movies.
Yeah, the best one, right?
Yeah, the dogs are talking. It's hilarious.
What a terrible, terrible movie.
I liked it at one point.
And RoboCop 3, which I've never seen, but I've heard that one's not so good either.
Yeah, it was the day of the trilogy, I guess.
It's the day of the trilogy.
You get two classic trilogies that day.
Go to the double feature. Okay, So there you go. Well, let's go ahead and get straight into our segments right here. Starting off, we have a very special opening, as it's called, and it has this kind of like a turning kind of Animaniacs logo and stuff going towards the screen. And I remember seeing this similar logo going on a lot for CBS, I believe, would have all this all the time. Kelly,
They would show it before the Rudolph Christmas special every year.
I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah, you know I know that.
Yeah, I've missed that little thing. You know, it was something that I always got excited about as a kid. Whenever I would see that, I would think, oh, maybe it's going to be something good. And usually it just turned into something like Valerie Bertinelli stars in Troubled Teen or something like that. But every now and then it would be a Christmas special or, you know, Garfield Christmas, stuff like that. But I missed that. But it's still around in this, so we get to look at it.
Yeah.
And of course, then they talk about a very special episode of Animaniacs Gather Round. And why is it special? Nathan?
Wacko's not wearing any pants.
I'm not wearing any pants.
When Wacko said that, it just reminded me of meeting Jess Harnell and him talking about, not wearing any. He liked Wacko a lot because he didn't wear any pants or something. It matched Jess Harnell's kind of wild personality, I suppose.
Hello, listener. This is Jess Harnell, the voice of Wacko on Animaniacs, and you're listening to Animanicast, which is the best thing you could possibly listen to, especially if you're not wearing pants. I'd love to go on talking to you, but I can't because I've got a potty emergency. See you later.
Cute. I don't really know what more to say about that first little opening right there, other than to say it was cute. It kind of reminded me of sort of Walt Disney, like he would be in a library talking to the audience sometimes, and Walt Disney Presents.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been what they were going for. But it was cute. Any thoughts on that first little opening before the Animaniacs song, guys?
Let's get to that song.
Well, it was better than Newsreel of the Stars, right?
Oh,
Nathan?
yeah. Oh, for sure.
So before we got to our first main segment, we go to Animaniacs Stew, which is the Animaniacs, or the Warners, I should say. Well, really all of the Animaniacs in this one.
The whole crew's there.
Yeah. They're basically explaining what the heck this episode's going to be about. And it's about mixing them all together in a pot. And what do you get? You get Animaniacs Stew. But it was a cute song. It was a catchy song. I always like hearing these things because I never really heard them outside of the show. They're not on the CDs or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go ahead and get into our first main segment, which is In the Garden of Mindy. In the Garden of Mindy was written by John P. McCann, and it was directed by Greg Reyna. And Kelly, what can you tell us about this first crossover right here of In the Garden of Mindy?
In this short segment, it blends Pinky and the Brain and Buttons and Mindy, except no Pinky and no Buttons. It's Mindy and the Brain. So Brain is out in the backyard with Mindy, and he's asked to keep an eye on her the way Buttons usually is, except he's too focused on trying to take over the world. And so he's not really paying any attention to Mindy, who's, as always, getting into trouble. And he decides he's going to use all these things in the backyard to, formulate his plan. But as usual, it goes awry. The lawnmower gets out of control because he's getting Mindy to drive it.
Yes.
And it incomprehensibly drives up a tree. And it's kind of like in Back to the Future.
Yes.
Where Brain keeps falling into the manure.
Yes, I'm glad you got that connection too, Kelly.
Yeah, of course I did.
Yes.
Spielberg.
I sense I've completed the first step of my plan, finding manure.
Manure! I hate manure!
So by the end of the episode, he's cranky and smelly, and he's been put in a dress, and he's been humiliated, and he's just not having a good day.
Yes.
He probably misses Pinky after all.
Yeah,
this.
you would think he's like, oh boy.
He's Pinky, the Mindy, and the Brain.
So what do you guys think about in this cartoon? I don't really think there's too many references necessarily.
No.
So let's just get to our favorite parts. Let's start with Kelly. You talked about the segment. What are some things you liked about this first cartoon?
I liked it when Mindy put Brain in a dress.
Yes.
and she was playing with him like a little doll, holding his ears, and I thought that was really, really cute. And
Pretty Brain Mosey.
I'm mortified.
Let me go over to Nathan. Nathan, what about you? Any things you like in this one?
Oh, yes. I liked when Mindy said that Brain smelled like poo-poo.
Brain smell like poo-poo.
I thought that Brain did a better job at watching Mindy, I guess, because she didn't escape. So better than. But
what if she did escape?
Yeah, then like what?
Well, and Brain showed off his powers in this one.
Yeah,
his
he has
telekinetic powers.
Yeah, like I don't know where that came from.
Using the Force.
I think he came off a little insane in this, and that he's like trying to make a stink bomb. Like the whole idea didn't really make much sense. Like gonna make a stink bomb, spread it across the world, and make everyone want to leave their house into the stinky air.
I will construct a powerful stink bomb. We'll use the lawnmower engine to construct a rocket and fill it with the gas. When precisely launched, the prevailing winds will spread the gas across the world's capitals. As the stench drives government officials out into the streets, we will rush in and seize power.
But
yeah, because that's a good point. Like, why would people leave their house when it's stinky outside?
Yeah, exactly. And just whenever I see someone like making, smelly things with manure, I kind of think they're crazy. So if I saw someone in their backyard like, oh, I'm going to take over the world by mixing all these random smelly things together, yeah.
Kind of reminds me...
And then make a rocket out of a lawnmower? That didn't make any sense either.
It kind of reminded me of, like, as a kid, like, sometimes I'd take, like, just random things and just mix them together in the backyard, like in a big muddy puddle or something, just to see...
And that's what he seemed like. He didn't seem like a genius. He's just like... He just wants to take over the world.
I particularly like the part where Mindy is asking him why. And he eventually just breaks down and says, because it's something I want to do.
Come, Mindy, it's time for us to conquer the world.
Why?
By right of superior intelligence, I am best suited to guide the destiny of this planet.
Why?
My empirical powers give me the mandate.
Why?
Because it's something I want to do.
Okay, love you.
It was kind of like a cathartic moment for Brain, I think, because if he just realized that there is no reason for this.
Like, why do you want to...
There is no why. Clear your mind of questions.
That's
what he should have told Mindy.
Yeah, we should get Yoda and the Brain in that case. And then that case, Brain would probably just mellow out a little bit. And he could use those telekinetic powers for good.
Well, yeah, I think it's just the Brain has the Force, maybe.
Oh.
There we go.
So, and like you were mentioning, like, it's so crazy for the Brain to say, like, okay, Mindy, go get me the lawnmower.
Right?
He's asking this 2-year-old to go help him with this scheme. It's so much more crazy than even asking Pinky to help him with something else.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the mom gets mad at the Brain for letting Mindy feed him bad cheese.
Yeah, why would you let her feed you bad cheese? She went off to the Better Parenting Council, I think, was at the beginning of this.
Well, at least she's trying to do something.
She's trying to do something as she leaves her child with a mouse.
Brain, watch Mindy while you're in your cage.
Now listen, honey. Mommy has to go to a Better Parenting conference. You stay right here and play.
Well, this was kind of a precursor. In fact, it was a precursor to a future Pinky and the Brain spinoff, Pinky, Elmira and the Brain. It kind of when Mindy dressed him up and was moving him around and then squeezing him and stuff, it did feel like kind of Elmira Duff from Tiny Toons. Did you get that vibe at all, Kelly?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Did you actually ever see Pinky, Elmira and the Brain, Kelly, at all when it was on the air?
Not that I recall. I know, of course, Elmira from Tiny Toons, but I don't think I ever saw the spinoff.
I have good memories of Pinky, Elmira and the Brain. I know, like, a lot of people bad mouth it, like, oh, that was a terrible spinoff, and they only did it because they were forced to from the network and everything. But for it was such I think it only ran for one season.
Yeah.
And it was such an anomaly. But I remember it being good because I always liked Elmira and I always liked Pinky and the Brain. So I thought this was a good pairing, Mindy and the Brain. I thought it was probably, I know I'm going to go ahead and spoil the rest of them, but this was the best pairing for me, at least, for all of them.
Yeah, I think it was a nice way to kick off the show, too.
Yeah.
A nice surprise. Like, ooh.
Yes, it was definitely something that you did not necessarily expect.
Yeah, even after that song, I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, what's happening? Like, that's every episode. Every episode has these characters in them. Like, what?
Well, then we had I guess the question was, what happened to, Pinky?
And we find out.
We find out in the next one, because it's of course,
it's Pinky and the Cat.
Pinky and the Cat. Okay. So the next one's a short little song, really.
Yeah, it's mostly just a song.
It's just Pinky and the Cat. And essentially what happens is they sing the theme song, and at the end of it, Pinky asks, what are we going to do tonight?
What do you want to do tonight, Rita?
I don't know. Eat you for supper. So far, this is my favorite episode.
And Pinky just talks about how spacious her stomach is. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of that short little segment. Very, very short, because what would happen if you put a cat and a mouse inside a cage together? Probably what would happen. Not much to really say about this, because
it's Rita's favorite episode.
It's Rita's favorite episode. That's true. Good. I was surprised it didn't sound like Bernadette Peters to me.
But it was.
Yeah, I was looking at the credits. I was like, I guess it is Bernadette Peters. But to me, it just didn't really sound like her too much. Maybe because she wasn't singing or whatever. But yeah, there you go. She had a very easy job this recording session.
Yeah, exactly. There are 2 lines, I think.
Then we have another song right here, and this one is called "We've Been Mixing Up the Scripts," done to the tune of I've been working on the railroad.
Yeah.
We've been mixing up the scripts. Oh, the live long show. Putting characters together who normally wouldn't go. And action!
And of course, they shred up all the scripts and they show them stapling them up together. And
it's cute.
There you go. Another cute song. Not much to say about that. But there is more to say about the next cartoon.
Because we haven't said anything about it.
Because we haven't said anything about it at all. And it is called No Place Like Homeless. No Place Like Homeless was written by John P. McCann and directed by Greg Raina. Nathan, what happened in No Place Like Homeless?
We have a pairing between Runt and Pesto. They're both homeless, hence the name. Runt's trying to get Pesto to sing some songs, but Pesto's not going to do it. They kind of get in some arguments, but then an old lady sees Runt caught in the rain and lets him come inside the house and whacks Pesto because she doesn't like pigeons with a broom. And then there's also another bird inside the house that I guess Pesto kind of gets in a fight with, and they both get kicked out of the house. And then at the end, Pesto does sing a little song.
That's true. He does sing a little bit, and he does a good job too.
Yeah.
Gee, Pesto. I know. I'm supposed to sing. Fine. La 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 la. There, you happy?
That was good, Pesto.
You think it was great?
No, but it was good.
But you think it was good, right? Hey, you know what? I could be the next Wing Newton.
It has a little bit of a happy ending right there. They get along at the end.
Mm-hmm. So,
well, there's some references to some things like Pia Zadora, a singer, Don Pardo. But when it comes to some of the cultural references, there's not too many. I think the old woman, when she starts hitting Pesto, because she says he's a blood-sucking pigeon.
Yeah, Nosferatu.
Yeah, she says Nosferatu.
Come here, boy. Get out of the rain. Oh, my.
Oh, boy, a nice human.
What are you, an elephant? Watch it, Jumbo.
Oh, you poor dog. Come inside and dry off. Don't move, doggy. A horrid pigeon just landed on your back. It probably wants to suck out your blood. Nasty blood-sucking bird. Nosferatu!
I did like the voice of the old lady.
Yeah, the voice was done by Paul Rudd.
Yeah, of course.
I know that I've heard that voice in an episode of Freakazoid.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I can't picture what old lady.
Yeah,
or maybe it was just Freakazoid
making a noise.
Talking like that or something. But yes, I love that woman. And what's the name of the old woman there? Do you have that in the credits?
It's somewhere in the credits.
The credits are that her name is. Let's see. I know it's
Mrs. Mumphead.
Yes, Paul Rudd.
Mumphead?
Yeah, Mrs. Paul Rudd played Mrs. Mumphead. So there you go. Such a weird little character. And such an annoying parrot going on as well.
You know, you belong on a pirate's shoulder, you miserable LaGuardia. Do you have something you want to say to my beak? Are you calling me crackers? Are you saying I'm a large sodium-covered square here to amuse you? Crackers! That's it!
That's gonna be trouble. Definitely trouble.
Kelly, any parts in this that you this cartoon that you like between Runt and Pesto?
I thought it was cute. I mean, like you've already said, when Pesto, instead of cursing, he'd say names.
Yes.
That kind of sounded Italian. Not all of them were, but
yes.
But he would just say funny little things, and I thought it was cute that Runt kept trying to get him to sing, because that's what Rita does.
Yes, yeah. Runt is a creature of habit. You have to, and of course, if he's which even makes even more sense if he's based upon the character of Rayman from Rain Man, that he has to have he has to watch Wheel of Fortune at a certain time. He has to watch this at a certain time. So it would make sense that he would have to have singing as well whenever he's walking, because otherwise luckily he didn't go into a fit or anything like that, like in Rain Man. So that was
that would have been less funny. I think
take a dark turn all of a sudden. But it was a cute cartoon. A nice pairing between these two, and it was nice to see Pesto getting into a fight with someone other than Squid for once.
Yeah, and I'm glad that parrot got what was coming to him.
Crackers! How dare you suck the blood from my parrot! Horrid, undead blood!
Well, moving right along, we have Katie Kaboo.
She's Katie Kaboom, Katie Kaboom. She lives in a house with a garden in bloom. Her family knows that anytime soon, their little lady Katie goes kaboom.
Katie Kaboo was written by Nicholas Hollander and Deanna Oliver, and was directed by Greg Reyna. This is our first Katie Kaboom.
Woohoo!
Katie Kaboom episode. And this is the basic rundown of what happens in this. Is Katie is a teenager. She's a teenage girl.
Mm-hmm.
She goes downstairs to talk to her family, one of which the father sounds and looks a lot like Jimmy Stewart.
Yep.
But so she goes downstairs to talk to her parents and her brother, and talks about her new boyfriend named CB.
Mm-hmm.
What did they stand for? But anyway, he happens to be Chicken Boo. And the parents, this is the first time where everybody, it's not just one person in the group, but everybody except for Katie can see that this is obviously a chicken.
Clearly a chicken.
And they say, I think he's a chicken. And she gets very upset at them, turns into a giant monster, and then looks at Chicken Boo and for some reason screams at him as well. And his clothes come off, which always happens in these.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks at him and goes, "You are a chicken. Why didn't you tell me?" And he just goes,
Mm-hmm. And then she gets angry again.
Angry at him, turns into fire. And well, wouldn't you know it? That's pretty much it. The
house goes kaboom.
Kaboom. And then she's like, "Oh, I broke up with him." And then Chicken Boo leaves Pleasantville. Which, ironically, this happened before the movie Pleasantville.
I was like, why is everyone in color?
But So there we go. That's our little Katie Kaboom / Chicken Boo team up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to start with Kelly on this one because this is, of course, a female character, and I would like to hear your perspective on it. Kelly, what do you think about Katie Kaboom?
I've always been kind of annoyed by her because I feel like she's stereotyping angry hormonal teenage girls.
Uh-huh.
and I was one. So I was always like yelling at my brother and my mother, and and if my brother had told me that some guy I was dating was a chicken, I would have freaked out too.
Katie, you're overreacting.
I'm not overreacting. I'm dating a chicken.
But but I don't know. I mean, I just never found the segments very, very funny.
Yeah.
But I like Chicken Boo, but I never have liked Katie Kaboom as a character.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Nicholas Hollander, who co-wrote the episode, based Katie Kaboom off of his, I believe, daughter or stepdaughter, I believe, just over her reactions to certain things.
Tell me a little about Katie Kaboom. What is the deal with Katie Kaboom?
Katie Kaboom. All right, yeah. This is definitely from Nick's life.
In my life, I have a stepdaughter who was going through that phase of that hormonal blossoming where she could be just so prissy, and suddenly something irks her and she would just go off.
And Kelly's right. I mean, I have heard that criticism of Katie Kaboom from some people that, they say like this character isn't a likable character. She just explodes and she's just annoying and stereotypical. Nathan, what do you think?
I liked it. I think it's funny. She's just like a monster. So, because she has like a superpower. It kind of reminds me of like a Twilight Zone kind of.
Like which Twilight Zone?
Well, like when the child is able to. Everyone has to be nice around the kid.
Yeah, that's right. So, be nice around him, otherwise
it seems like it would be a kind of a different take on I could see a Twilight Zone being about,
Yeah, don't make Katie mad.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in that vein, I think it's more like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's good. That'd be a fun fight.
Yeah, that's what my wife was saying when we were watching it, was like, why do people not like her? She's a superhero.
Yeah.
She has superpowers and she can bust. She just hasn't learned to control them yet.
Yeah, she's like Phoenix.
She's like one of the X-Men.
Yeah.
That's it. So Katie Kaboom is just, it's going to be a new, in fact, she should get a spin-off.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Maybe people would like her character a little bit more.
There we go. We just need more depth into it. That's all.
She needs more than just those minute segments, and then we can really get into her, what she's all about.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was overall, I mean, I think it was a nice introduction to Katie Kaboom, I suppose. But we'll just see how much we, either can, continue to like her character a little, or if it just gets old after a while. We shall see. Well, we have another song coming up called We Found This Old Computer.
We found this old computer, and then we fixed it up. We threw in all the characters. Now they're all mixed up.
Now, in case you didn't realize, the Warners are once again telling you, we mix things up.
Yeah, in case you just tuned in and you're like, why was Katie Kaboom and Chicken Boo? And who's Katie Kaboom? First time seeing it.
So they tell you, I suppose this probably came back from after commercial or something like that. Like, hey kids, we mixing up all the characters and we're pushing them in here and yada, yada, yada. And just to prove their point, they start singing the Slappy the Squirrel song with the Skippy outside of the tree.
Yeah.
But inside of the tree is not Slappy Squirrel. It's Dottie the Squirrel.
Yep.
And Dot gets very upset.
The name's Dot. Call me Dottie and you die.
That's Dottie.
I warned you.
Since Slappy is not featured in that little segment, they have to show what the heck happened to to Slappy, because Dot's in her tree. Slappy, meanwhile, is with the Warner Brothers, I should say, in the Baghdad Cafe. And the Baghdad Cafe was also written by John P. McCann.
All right.
He had a lot of the segments in this one. And it was directed by Leonard Robinson. Kelly, what basically happened right here in Baghdad Cafe?
Well, we see, he goes by a different name. It's not...
Yeah, it's So Darn Insane, I believe.
So darn insane. Instead of Saddam Hussein, but he's obviously, a play on Saddam Hussein. But the Warner Brothers show up, and Slappy is playing Dot, and she has no clue what she's doing. She's reading off the script, and she keeps trying some of Dot's lines, like Princess Angelina, Contessa Louisa, and then she's like, forget it. And, she doesn't even finish it. And then there's a moment where she's supposed to jump up into the guard's arms and say, "Hello, nurse," but she can't jump up. She's like trying to climb up him, and so it's really cute because she's not nearly as quick-witted as Dot is in this particular role.
Yes, and so at the end, I mean, we have like a. She's just getting through all the end, and she just says, forget what this.
Yeah, she just goes back to classic Slappy.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm Princess Angelina, Contessa, Louisa, Francesca. Forget it. I'm done. Here, have some dynamite down your pants.
And they all go off, and
the Warner Brothers, they ride off on a camel, and
Slappy goes off in her little old lady from Pasadena.
Yeah, her little red Corvette or whatever it is.
What was it? Oh, come on. What kind of car is that?
Just sing the whole song. I don't think it does say the song.
It's a red car.
That's it.
That's it.
No, I think it probably does say...
super hot rod. Yeah, let's just say that. It's a super hot rod. Oh, somebody out there is screaming. I know exactly what car it's supposed to be. Okay. We heard you. Thank you. I'm not going to say what you said, but I heard you. So, it was a cute segment, guys. What do you think? Nathan, let's start with you this time. What do you think about this? Any particular moments that you particularly liked?
Yeah, I thought there was lots of little funny things. Seeing like when Skippy's supposed to come in, and so we see Flavio, the hippo.
Yes.
I'm out of here. Where's Skippy? Skippy!
Slappy!
You're not Skippy. What the heck's going on around here?
Not what she was expecting.
Yeah, like what's going on here? Like she doesn't seem to know quite, even though they've had these theme songs, she doesn't quite know what she's doing there, or... But I just like that she's constantly reading the script to figure out what's going on next.
Yeah. And Kelly, anything that you particularly liked in this one?
I like the little hat that Flavio was wearing. I guess with the intent to make him look like a little kid.
Yes. My favorite part is probably just with Slappy just trying to get up into the guard's arms. And she's just like leaps into his arms. And she's just like, "Hey, give me a hand, buddy."
Slappy, you're mine.
All right. Let me see here. She leaps into the handsome guard's arms. Give me a boost, will you? I'm old. Okay, here goes. Hello, nurse. I don't get it. What does that mean?
That was pretty funny. And, of course, yes, at the end, it really turned into a Slappy cartoon more than anything, because she had all the really funny parts of just, why am I doing this? And just, I need script approval next time. So it was very cute. Well, before we get to our Water Tower rating, we had one last thing, which, as Yakko pointed out, was kind of to pad out the show, perhaps.
Yeah, which seems like there was already lots of things. So
there's a lot of little padding things in here, but this one is, of course, when you have a few seconds left in the show, it's time for the Wheel of Morality.
It's that time again.
To pad out the show?
To search for Elvis at 7-Eleven?
No, it's time to learn the day's lesson.
today's moral was, you can teach an old dog new tricks, but you can't teach Madonna to act. Ow.
Wow.
I don't mind Madonna's acting that much. Kelly,
I thought she was fine in Evita.
Yeah, and my favorite act, I liked her in Dick Tracy a lot. That was my favorite role that Madonna's in. And then, Evita, she got, this was after Animaniacs. She was in Evita. And I think she was nominated for an Oscar in that.
Yeah, I think so.
But she had... At least a Golden Globe.
Back that far. Yeah, I think she was praised. I don't...
Yeah.
She was critically acclaimed.
Well,
Yes.
and I think she surprised a lot of people. I think everyone was sort of, prepared to really hate it, but were pleasantly surprised.
Right.
From my recollection.
Yeah. So, for me, she did just fine in Dick Tracy, I think, as Breathless Mahoney, so... There you go. Madonna, but then again, she has been in some bad films.
Yeah.
So, there we go, guys. Those were all of my goodness, there were so many different segments in this one.
And then at the end, after the credits,
oh yeah,
they say, look out, there's
something on you.
There's something on your back. As they would say in Doctor Who, because they are Time Lords.
Well, there's a giant bug on your back.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just kidding.
And they say just kidding. Did you fall for that, Nathan? Did you think?
Of course.
Oh,
anything I hear on TV, I assume is true.
That explains a lot. So
I don't know what that's supposed
to be. So, what do you guys think? Let's get right to our water tower rating.
Ooh.
So here we go, guys. Out of 5 water towers, how many water towers would you give this one? I'm going to go ahead and go first. I'm going to give this one 4 water towers. It just was jam-packed of a lot of different stuff, and it was all funny stuff, and I really like the animation in every single segment. Chicken Boo took a little bit of a dive, but other than that, the animation was great, and the writing was good. Yeah, that's me. That's my thoughts. 4 water towers. Kelly, what about you?
I will also give it 4. I thought it was funny and pretty consistent across the board, being entertaining. The only thing I've sort of subtract the water tower for is there weren't a lot of super quotable moments or, songs that I, want to sing or that were super catchy and memorable. So nothing really stood out in that way, but I thought overall it was fun. It was a fun episode.
All right, Nathan, and that's just you left. So what are you thinking? How many water towers?
Well, I'm gonna change it up and I'll say 4.5 stars.
All right.
Or sorry, I'm gonna say 4.5 water towers.
That's right, 4.5 water towers. Starry water towers, as we say. So why do you think that's almost a perfect score?
It's almost perfect. I didn't have any problem with the episode, and I would like to see more of them. Even I liked the whole crossover ideas. I thought it was fun. It seemed like the animators and the writers had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't think this would be like the first episode you would want to see.
No, you would not get it.
You don't get the joke, and that's why I would take off like half a star. But so yeah, I would say 4.5 star because I thought the songs were good enough. There was lots of songs and just lots of content. So
lots of content. Not a lot of cultural references, but that's not bad because there was so many different segments to go through.
Kids don't care about the cultural references.
No, they don't.
They're just gonna be funny stuff. So there you go.
So there was a lot of funny stuff in it. So very cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right over to our poll results from last week.
Hello there. It's the announcer bot 3000 with more Animaticast poll results. I am proud to announce that I will now be the show's permanent announcer. The previous human announcer has joined my friends, the Cybermen. It will be quite impossible for him to return. Now then, time for this week's poll. Wait a minute. No. It's impossible. You can't be back. No, stay away from my power supply.
from a sort of weird vacation with this week's Twitter poll results. Listeners were asked, is Mr. Clown just Mr. Director in disguise? Hashtag Animaniacs, hashtag Animanicast poll. Well, just 13% said no, but an astounding 87% said yes, they're one and the same. So there you go. Well, it's off to the studio now, and it's off to get back to work for me. We'll see you next week with another Twitter poll.
So the question was, is Mr. Director is Mr. Clown just Mr. Director in makeup?
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, what do you think?
Yes.
Nathan?
I said no.
Really?
Well, just to be different.
Well, and I think he is too, although it would be weird if they were like just two different characters.
They're brothers.
Did Mr. Clown, I can't remember off the top of my head, does Mr. Clown ever come back to the series? Because if he doesn't...
I don't think so.
So maybe they are two separate people, because maybe Mr. Clown is stuck on Mars.
Yeah, I think it's his brother or something. I don't know.
Oh, could be. I don't know.
Or it's Jerry Lewis, and Mr. Director is someone else.
Yes, that's true. Well, I think this is truly just an example of Superman and Clark Kent kind of thing going on. Like, they don't call him Mr. Director when he's dressed up as a clown, because he's not. He's a totally different person. It's like, I would expect them to say, Mr. Clown, have you seen Mr. Director around? I haven't seen him around. He's expected on the set. Oh, no, I don't know.
See, that'd be good.
That's what they need to do. That would be a great extra episode right there. Where's Mr. Director? Anyway.
Well, they were going to have, like, Krusty the Clown be Homer Simpson at one point.
That's true. They were going to have that big...
and then... I'm glad they dropped that idea.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Been dumb.
Yes, it would have been very dumb. So, Nathan, you have our poll question for this week. Go ahead and hit us with it. What is it? Don't hit me too hard, though.
Okay, well, you should take cover, because this is a big one. This is I'm sorry. I've started hitting you already. So we had a very special episode this one. Lots of crossovers. And the question is, which is the best crossover of these little segments? So we have In the Garden of Mindy, there's No Place Like Homeless, and we'll do Baghdad Cafe. So of those three, those are the biggest ones of the episode.
Yeah, I think I'll probably split them up into like Mindy in the Brain and you know what I mean, instead of just the title.
That's good. Yeah,
so we'll say Mindy in the Brain. We'll say
Pesto and Runt.
Pesto and Runt.
And Slappy and the Warner Brothers.
Yes, Yakko, Wacko, and Slappy. We'll see if that fits. It's always kind of like
it's going to be something. You'll see it on Twitter, and you'll vote on your favorite one.
You will. And so to do that, just head over to twitter.com/Animaniacast, or you can simply search for hashtag Catchphrase.
You can submit your Animani catchphrase, and I will read them on the air. Maybe.
It's hashtag Animaniacast poll. And yes, you will be able to make your voice heard. Well, folks, it's about that time to close up shop before my brain it's already checked out. It's already gone. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and get right into some contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter. JangoFT, that's me.
And Kelly, how about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS.
And you can go ahead and get in contact with the Animanicast in general simply by going to Twitter or Facebook, or you can send us an email, which is animanicast@retrozap.com. And speaking of retrozap.com, hey, we're a proud member of those RetroZap group people. So there's lots of stuff heading over there. We have a brand new Star Wars podcast that's going to be coming out soon. And so head on over to retrozap.com for some awesome articles and some fantastic podcasts. There you go. Ooh. You won't regret it. I'll give you your money back if you regret it. So, without any further ado, I think it's time to wrap things up, and we will see you again for episode 36 let's make it a week from now. What do you say? All right. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Our story is over. Its ending is happy thanks to Yakko, Wacko, and our sister, Slappy.
Next time I'm asking for script approval.